sons of the prophets, give them the talent and silver to each of the garments. Then it said, be content, take 2 talents in the earth, and 2 talents of silver, and 2 bags, and 2 changes of garments, and laid them upon 2 of his servants, and they bare him before. And when he came to the tower, he took them from their hand, and bestowed them in the house. Let the men go, and they went in and stood before his master. Elijah said unto him, whence cometh thou? Is the house? And he said, thy servant comes from thither. And he said unto him, let not mine heart with thee. When the man turned again from his chariot to meet thee, is it a time to receive grain, to receive garments, olive yards, and vineyards, and sheep, and oxen, and men servants, and maid servants? Leprosy therefore is named, and shall cleave unto thy seed forever. And one out from his presence, a leper as white as snow. Mm. The leprosy therefore is named, and shall cleave unto thy seed forever. And one out from his presence, a leper as white as snow. The sons of the prophets said to Elijah, behold now, the place where we dwell with you is too straight for us. Let us go, we pray thee, unto the Lord, and take us every man a beam, and let us make us a place where we may dwell, and enter go you. And one said, be content, I pray thee, and go with thy servants. And he answered, I will go. So he went with them. They when they came into being, they cut down wood. As one from the beam, the axe that fell into the water. And he cried and said, alas, master, the beast is gone. And the man of God said, where fell it? And he showed him the place where he had cut it down a stick and cast it thither, and the iron had swing. Therefore said he, take it up. And he put out his hand and took it. When the king of Syria warred against Israel, took counsel with his servants, saying, in such and such the servants saying, such and such a place shall be my king. The man of God sent unto the king of Israel, saying, beware, thou pass not such a place. For thither the Syrians are come down. And the king of Israel sent to the place which man of God sort of warned him of, and said to himself, they are not once but twice. Therefore the heart of the king of Syria was sore troubled for this thing, and called his servants, and said unto them, will you not show me which of this is the king of Israel? And one of his servants said, none, my lord, O king, but Elijah the prophet that is in Israel. Telleth the king of Israel the words that thou speakest in the bedchamber.
Girl, this guy.
And one of his servants, and he said, go and spy where he is, that I may send and fetch him. And it was told him, saying, behold, he is in Jotham. Therefore sent he thither horses, chariots, and great hosts. And they came by night, and compassed the city about. And when the servant of the man of God was risen early and gone forth, behold, a host compassed the city both with horses and chariots. And the servant said unto him, alas, my master, how shalt shall we do? And he answered, Fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them. And Elijah prayed, and he said, Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. The Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots and fire around about Elijah. And they came down to him, and Elijah prayed unto the Lord and said, Smite these people, I pray thee, with blindness, and you show them the brightness according to the word of Elijah. And Elijah said unto them, This is not the way, neither is this the city. Follow me, and I will bring you to a man whom you seek. But he led them to Samaria. Came to pass, when they were down in Samaria, that Elijah said, Lord, open the eyes of these men, that they may see, and that Lord open their eyes, and they saw, and behold, they were in the midst of Samaria. And the king of Israel said unto Elijah, when he saw them, My father, shall I smite them? Shall I smite them? And he answered, Thou shalt not smite them. But if thou smite those whom thou hast taken captive with thy sword and with thy mouth, set bread them out of the prison, that they may eat and drink and go to their master. They prepared great provision for them. And when they had eaten and drank, he set them away, and they went to their master. So the bands of Syria came no more into the land of Israel. And it came to pass after this that Benahad, the king of Syria, gathered all his hosts and went up and besieged Samaria. And there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they until an asset was sold fourscore pieces of silver, and the fourscore of a calf that was done for 5 pieces of silver. And as the king of Israel was passing upon the wall, there cried a woman unto him, saying, Help, my lord, O king. And he said, If the Lord do not help thee, when shall I help thee? Out of the strong floor, or out of the right breast? And the king said unto her, What a liar. And the woman said unto him, Give thy son, that we may eat today. What? We will eat from the sun tomorrow. So we boiled my son. And did eat him. And I said unto her, and the next day, Give thy son that we may eat him. She hath hid her son. And it came to pass when the king heard the words of the woman, that he rent his clothes, and he passed by upon the wall, and the people looked, and behold, he had sackcloth without within upon his flesh. And he said, God, whoso and more offer to me, with the head of Elijah, the son of Shaphat, will stand for him this day. But Elijah sat in his house, and the other sat within. The king sent a man from before him, but ere the messenger came to him, and he said to the elders, See how this son of a murderer hath sent to take away my head. Look, when the messenger cometh, shut the door, and hold him fast at the door. Is not this the sound of his master's feet behind him? And while he yet talked with them, behold, the messenger came down unto him and said, Behold, this evil is of the Lord. What should I wait for the Lord any longer? Hey, bro, And Elijah said, Hear me. The word of the Lord, thus saith the Lord, tomorrow, about this time shall a measure of fine flour be sold for a shekel, and 2 measures of barley for a shekel, in the gate of Samaria. And the Lord on whose hand the king leaned answered the man of God, and said, Behold, if the Lord would make widows in heaven, might this thing be? And he said, Behold, Thou shalt see it with thine eyes, but shalt not eat it. And there were four lepers, lepers men at the entering in of the gate, and they said one to another, why sit we here until we die? If we say, we will enter into the city, and the famine is in the city, and we shall die there. And if we sit still here, we also die. Now therefore come and let us fall into the host of the Syrians, and if they save us alive, we shall live, and if they kill us, we shall die. And they rose up in the twilight to go into the camp of the Syrians. And when they were come into the uttermost part of the camp of Syria, behold, there was no man there. For the Lord hath made the host of the Syrians to hear a noise of chariots and noise of horses, even the noise of a great host. And they said one to another, lo, the king of Israel died against us, the king of the Hittites, and the king of the Egyptians to come upon us. Therefore they arose and fled in the twilight, left their tents and their horses and their asses, even the camp as it was, to beg for their life. And when these lepers came, the uttermost part of camp, they went into one tent and did eat and drink, and carried them silver and gold and raiment, and went and hid it. Came again and entered into another tent and carried them also, and went and hid it. They, then they said one to another, we do not love, they are anxiety, but we hold our peace. We tarry till the morning light, so mischief we will come upon us. Now therefore come, and we may go and tell the truth. So they came and called them to the port of the city, and they told them, saying, we came to the camp and Syrians, and behold, there was no man there, neither voice of man, but horses tied and asses tied, and the tents as they were there. And he called the porters, and they told it to the king's house within. And the king arose in the night, and said unto the servants, I will now shew you what the Syrians have done to us. They know that we be hungry, therefore are they gone out of the camp to hide themselves in the field, saying, when they come out of the city, we shall catch them alive and get it into the city. And one of his servants answered and said, let them take, I pray thee, 5 of the horses and the means which are left in the city. For they are as all the multitude of Israel that are left in it. Behold, I say, they are even as all the multitude of Israelites that are consumed, and let us send it. They took therefore 2 chariots, horses, and the king said after the host of the Syrians said, go, see. And they went after them into the Jordan, and lo, all the way was full of garments and vessels, which the Syrians had cast away in the haste, and the messengers returned toward the king. And the people went out, spoiled the tents of the Syrians. So a measure of fine flour was sold for a shekel, 2 measures of barley for a shekel, according to the word of the Lord. And the king appointed the Lord, in whose hand he leaned to have the charge of the gate, and the people showed upon him the way he got, as the man of God had said. He spake when the king came down, and it came to pass as the man of God had spoken to the king, saying, 2 measures of barley for a shekel, 2 measures of fine flour for a shekel shall heap tomorrow, about this time of the gate of spirit. And, and that the Lord answered the man of God and said, now behold, the Lord shall make widows in the heaven, and I shall say unto you, and behold, thou shalt see it with thy mouth, shall not eat thereof. So it fell out to him, where the people showed upon him in the gate, and he died. Chapter 8. I know what this is. Hmm. And spake Elijah unto the woman, whose son he had restored to life, saying, Arise, go thou and thine household, and sojourner whereso thou canst sojourn, for the Lord hath called for a famine, and it shall also come upon the land 7 years. And the woman arose and did after the saying of the man of God. She went with her household and sojourned to the land of the Philistines 7 years. And it came to pass after 7 years, and the woman returned out of the land of the Philistines, and she went forth to cry unto the king for her house and for her land. And the king talked with Jehanabah, the servant of the man of God, saying, Tell me, I pray thee, all the great things that Elijah hath done. And it came to pass, as he was telling the king, he had restored a deadly body to life. And behold, the woman whose son he had restored to life, and cried the king for her house and for her land. And Joshua said, My lord, O king, this is the woman, this is her son, whom Elijah restored to life. And when the king asked the woman, she told him. So the king appointed unto a certain officer, saying, Restore all that was hers, and all the fruits of the field since the day that she left the land, even until now. Elijah came to Damascus, and Hananiah, the king of Syria, was sick, and it was told him, saying, The man of God is come hither. And the king unto Azariah, Take a present in thine hand, and go meet the man of God, and inquire of the Lord by him, saying, Shall I recover of this disease? So Hazael went to meet him, and took a present with him, even of every good thing of Damascus, 40 camel burdens, 40 camel burdens. And it came and stood before him and said, The son of Benaiah, the king of Syria, hath sent him to thee. Shall I recover of this disease? And Elijah said unto him, Go say unto him, Thou mayest certainly recover. Howbeit the Lord hath showed me that he shall surely die. And he settled his countenance steadfastly until he was ashamed. And the man of God wept. And Hazael said, Why weepeth my Lord? And he answered, Because I know the evil that thou wilt do unto the children of Israel. Their strongholds wilt thou set on fire, and their young men wilt thou slay with the sword, and wilt dash their children, and rip up their women with child. And Hazael said, But what is thy servant, a dog, and that he should do this great thing? And Elijah answered, The Lord hath showed me that thou shalt be king over Syria. So he departed from Elijah. Mm, sorry, yeah. So he departed from Elijah and came to his master, who said to him, What said Elijah to thee? And he answered, He told me that thou shouldest surely recover. What? And it came to pass on the morrow that he took a thick cloth and dipped it in water and spread it on his face, so that he died. And Hazael reigned in his stead. And in the 5th year of Jeroboam, the son of Ahab, king of Israel, Jehoshaphat being then king of Judah, Jehoram the king, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, began to reign 30 and 32 years, and 2 years old, 32 years old, when he, when he began to reign, and he reigned 8 years in Jerusalem. And he walked in the way of kings of Israel, as did the house of Ahab, for the daughter of Ahab was his wife. What? Ahab was his wife, and did evil in the sight of the Lord. Yet the Lord would not destroy Judah David, for David his servant's sake, as he promised him to give him away the life to his children. In the days of Elam, the voices from under the hand of Judah, and made the king over himself. So Joram and over Uzal, all the chariots with him, and he rose by night and smote even which compassed him about the captains and the chariots, and people fled into the tents. That Edom revolted from under the hand of Judah until this day. Then Lebanon revolted at the same time. And the rest of the acts of Jeroboam and all that he did, are they not written in the book of Chronicles of the kings of Judah? So Joram slept with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David. And Azaziah his son reigned in his stead. In the 20th, 25th, 12th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, the king of Israel, Eleazar, the son of Joram, king of Judah, began to reign. 220 years old was Hagar when he began to reign, and he reigned 1 year in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Athaliah, the daughter of Omri, king of Israel. And he walked in the way of the house of Ahab, and did evil in the sight of the Lord, as did the house of Ahab, for he was the son-in-law of the house of Ahab. And he went with Joram, the son of Ahab, to the war against Hazar, king of Syria, and Ramathagar, the Syrian, wounded Joram, the king of Joram, who he killed in Israel, the wounds which the Syrians had given him at Ramah when he fought against Hazael, king of Syria, and Hazazar, the son of Jeroam, king of Judah, went down to see Joram, the son of Ahab, in Jezreel, because he was sick. And Elijah the prophet called one of the children of the prophets and said unto him, Gird up, there shall be none to bury her. And he opened the door and fled. And then Jehu came forth to the servants of the Lord. And one said unto him, Is all well? Wherefore came this man fellow to thee? And he said unto them, You know the man and his communication. And the king, Jehu rose and said, Jehu the son of Joshua conspired against Joram, and Joram had and Jehu. Someone get the door for Daisy, please. Now Jehu came forth to the servants of his Lord, and one said unto him, Is all well? Wherefore came this man forward to you? And he said unto them, You know the man and his communication. And they said, It is false. Tell us now. And he spake thus, and thus spake he to me, saying, Thus saith the Lord, I have anointed the king over Israel. Then they hastened and took every man his garment and put it under him on the top of the stairs, and blew the trumpet, saying, Jehu the king. So Jehu the son of Joshua, the son of Yeshua, conspired against Joram, and Joram had kept Ramah, Gilead, he, all his Israel, because Hazael king of Syria. And he chose the son of Verse 15. Verse 15. But King Joram was returned to be healed in Jezreel of the wounds which the Syrians had given him. And he saw with his eyes in his hair, and Jehu said, If it be your mind, let none go forth to escape of the city to go to Israel. And Jehu rode in a chariot went to Jezreel for the Joram and lay there, and Hazael the king of Judah was king of Israel. And there stood a watchman in the tower in Jezreel, spied the company of Jehu, and he came and said, I see a company. And Joram said, take a horseman, and send to beat them. Let him say, Is it peace? So there went one of the horsemen to him and said, Thus, the king, is it peace? And Jehu said, Why hast thou to do with the peace? Turn thee behind thee. And the watchman told him, saying, The messenger came to him, but he cometh not again. He sent out a second enforcer to his king to him, and said, Thus saith the king, Is it peace? Jehu answered, What hast thou to do with the peace? Turn thee behind. And the watchman told, saying, He came even unto them, and cometh not again. And driving is like the driving of Jehu, the son of Nun. Nimshi, so drive it furiously. And Joram said, make ready. And this church was made ready. And Joram, king of Israel, Azar, king of Judah, went out to his chariot. They went out against Jehu and met him in the portion of Naboth the Jezreelite. And it came to pass when Joram saw Jehu, then he said, is it peace, Jehu? And he answered, what peace so long as the whoredoms of the mother's reveals, which cost so many? And Joram and Joram turned his hand and said to Hazael, there is treachery, O Hazael. And Jehu threw a bow with his full strength and smote Joram between his arms and arrow went out of his heart, and he sunk in his chariot. And then Jehu bid a car captain take up and cast him with the other Naboth, the Jezreelite, to remember how that when I and thou go together after Ahab his father, and the Lord laid his burden upon him. Surely I have seen yesterday the blood of Naboth and the blood of his sons, saith the Lord. And it is not easy to do. Because using this video for putting reference. And other reviews are ensuring like Dylan will be to the videos soon. In fact, I'm gonna see if he responded to it. And definitely not the song I want either. Mr. West, that he was now the song saith the Lord, and I will requite thee in this flat, saith the Lord. Now therefore take and cast him into the flat of ground, according to the word of the Lord. And when Hazael, the king of Judah, saw this, he fled by the way of the garden house, and Jehu followed him after to smite him and kill it. And he did so. At the going up to Gur, which is by Babylon, and he fled to the Megiddo and died there. And his servants carried him in the chariot to Jerusalem and buried him in his sculpture with his fathers in the city of David. And in the 11th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, began Ahab to reign over Judah. And when Jehu was come up to Jezreel, Jezreel heard of it, and she painted her face and, oh, Jezebel, Jezebel, oh, Jezreel, Jezebel heard of it, and she painted her face and followed her, and looked out the window. And Jehu answered him at the person, she said, at his peace, peace to his master. He lifted up his face to the window and said, who is on my side? And there looked out to him two or three eunuchs, and he said, throw her down. So they threw her down, and some of her blood was sprinkled on the wall, on the horses, and he trod her under his feet. He was coming, he did eat and drink, and said, go ye now to Shushan to bury her, for she is the king's daughter. And they went to bury her, but they found no and the scroll and the feet and the palms of her hands. Therefore they came again and told him, he said, the word of the Lord which you spake by the servant Elijah, and testified, saying that the portion of Israel shall dogs eat the flesh of Jezebel, and the carcass of Jezebel shall be a dung upon the face of the field, and the portion of Jezebel, so that she shall not say, this is Jezebel. Crazy. So I didn't even know the funny half of the story was, such as Jezebel. I didn't understand the pronunciation, so I didn't know who was Jezebel. That's, yeah. I knew she was out. I thought she died already. But people predicted when Elijah predicted it. It's crazy. And I thought this was in between the time that Elijah already left. I guess he probably knew too. Crazy. We're in chapter 10 now. Chapter 10. I might switch from the book. Loki, so I'm not gonna read it. Like the book is good. But, no, I don't know. I love that one. Oh, great. You got some extras. Oh, nice. Pretty tired, that's okay. Bro. 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 And they had 70 sons in Samaria, and Jehu wrote letters and sent to Samaria unto the rulers of Jezreel, to the elders to them, that brought up Ahab's children, saying, now, as soon as this letter cometh to you, seeing your master's son are with you, and there are with you chariots and horses, a fenced city also, and armor. Looked even out the best of the meanest of your master's sons, and set him on his father's throne, and fight for your master's house. Look even out of the best and meanest of your master's sons, and set him on his father's throne, and fight for your master's house. But they were exceedingly afraid, and said, behold, two kings stood not before him. How then shall we stand? And he that was over the house, and he that was over the city, the elders also, that bringeth up the children, sent to Jehu, saying, we are thy servants, and well do all that thou shalt bid us. We will not make any king do thou that which is good in thine eyes. Then he wrote a letter the second time to them, saying, if ye be mine, and if ye will hearken unto my voice, take ye the heads of the men, your master's son, and come to me to Israel by tomorrow, this time. When the king's son, being 70 persons, were with the great men of the city which brought them up. That will go. His man won't even go and watch this. And it came to pass when the letter came to them, and they took the king's son, and slew 70 persons of their heads in a basket, and sent them to Israel. And there came a messenger and told him, saying, they have brought the heads of the king's sons. And he said, lay ye them in two heaps at the entering in the gate until the morning. And it came to pass in the morning that he went and stood and said to all the people, ye be righteous. Behold, I conspired against my master and slew him. But who slew all these? 10. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's crazy stuff be happening. Yeah. Know that there shall fall unto the earth nothing of the word of the Lord, which the Lord spake concerning the house of Ahab. For the Lord hath done that which he spake by his servant Elijah. So Jehu slew all that remained the house of Ahab in Jezreel, all his great men, and his kinfolk, and his priests, so left none remained. And he rose and departed and came to Samaria. He, and as he was at the shearing house in the way, and he was at the shearing house in the way, Jehu met with the brethren of Uzziah, the king of Judah, and said, Who are you? Who are you? And they answered, We are the brethren of Uzziah. Go down to salute the children of the king and the children of the queen. He said, Take them alive. And they took them alive and slew them at the pit of the shearing house, even 240 men, neither left he any of them. And when he was departed from Syria, he lighted on Jehonadab, the son of Rechab, coming to meet him, saluted him, and said to him, Is thine heart right, as my heart is with thy heart? And Jehonadab answered, It is. And said, He gave me on him, and he gave him his hand, and took him into the chariot, and said, Come with me, and see my zeal before the Lord. So they took him, so they took it, and they made him ride into his chariot, and he came to Samaria. He slew all that remained to Ahab, Syria. By the way, they are slaying these people, because these people are doing horrible acts. You know, he's absolutely horrible. Like, it is taking the job for all horrible. Rightly deserved. And when he came to Samaria, he slew all that remained. I already read it, but I'm reading it again. After Ahab in Samaria, till he had destroyed it, according to the saying of the Lord which he spake to Elijah. And he gathered all the people together, and said unto them, Ahab served Baal a little, but Jehu shall serve him much. Now therefore call unto me all the prophets of Baal, all his servants and all his priests, that none of be wanting, for I have great sacrifice to do. Baal, whosoever shall excuse me, shall not live. But Jehu did it in subtlety, to the intent that he might destroy the worshippers of Baal. And Jehu said, proclaim the solemn assembly for Baal, and they proclaimed it. Yeah, bro. My eyes get watery. Have y'all seen the new podcast that dropped with Joel Osteen and Logan Paul? You know, I do respect him, Joel Osteen, with the audience he has. He has the biggest church in America. And I love how he did Paul during the genre. I respect him for that. He did, he did, yeah. So, yeah, to this guy. He seems to believe of my live. It should be on my main page. Surprised it's not on my main page. On my main page. Bro, how do you share your right? Yeah, I think. Oh, sure. Mm, Well, as I was saying, with the quiet audience he has, calling BJ's out, I can show you how to do it. It's rather older. It's Pierce Morgan interviewing him, saying you're being not the uh, yeah, it's Joe Roast in the scripture clear on gay marriage. And it says it's in the scripture. The fact is, there's churches that are smaller than that. Like, won't even call it out. And but he does water it down for sure. Being gay waters it down a lot, but he does get the point. Anyway, let's get back to reading. And Jehu said, proclaim a solemn assembly for Baal. They proclaimed it. And Jehu sent through all Israel, and all the worshippers of Baal came, so that there was not a man left there. Came not. And they came into the house of Baal. The house of Baal was full from one end to another. And he said unto him that was over the vestry, bring forth vestments for all the worshippers of Baal. And he brought forth vestments. And Jehu went, and Jadiah, the son of Rakan, into the house of Baal, and said unto the worshippers of Baal, search and look that there be here with you none of the servants of the Lord, but the worshippers of Baal only. And when they went in to offer sacrifices and burnt offerings, Jehu appointed fourscore then without, said, if any of the men whom I have brought into the hands of escape, he that letteth him go his life shall be for the life of him. Bro, the reason why I'm not screen sharing is because this computer is so cheap. Because what I'm reading, I don't want people to just look at me. Yes, I am. I'm explaining. So when I'm reading, right, I don't want the people to just look at me. I want them to look at the screen. Yeah, I'm talking to everyone. So But when I get this computer, if I screen share, it'll blow up. Like this computer will get so heated, it'll die. With the suction. So Lord willing, I'll be getting a new computer. Okay, we don't need any of the feedback. We don't need any feedback today. Like, I continue to read. Oh, okay. So go to when they went in to offer sacrifices to go out there, so he appointed forcibly men without consent. Any of the men I have brought into the hands of so I knew you were white. This guy. That's easy. When they went to offer sacrifices, judges, and he let them go. The life shall be for the life of him. And it came to pass, as soon as he had made an end of salt offering, the burnt offering, that Jehu said to the garden, the captain, go in, so that none enter and spoke with the edge of the sword and the bar and the captive cast it out. And went to the city of the house of Baal, and they brought forth the images out of the house of Baal and burned them. And they break down the images of Baal and break them down the house of Baal and made it brought house to the Lord. Respect that. Okay. And then Jehu destroyed Baal. And how they from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin, Jehu departed not from them after to the golden calves that were in Bethel and that were in Dan. And how they from the sins of Israel, how they from the sins of Israel, the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. And the Lord unto Jehu, because thou hast done well in executing that which is the right in my mouth, hast done into the house of Ahab according to all that was in my heart, thy children of the fourth generation shall sit on the throne of Israel. Guys, the audio is so messed up because the computer all right, we have to continue to read. There's a lot of interruptions because the family is just yapping in the background. We're going to try to continue to read. We have a lot of interruptions in the background because people do not shut up. And the Lord said unto okay. And the Lord said, because thou hast done well in executing, which is right in thine eyes, hast done unto the house of Ahab according to all that was in my heart. Thy children, the fourth generation, shall sit on the throne of Israel. By Jehu took no heed to walk in the law of the Lord of God, no, the Lord God of Israel, with all his heart. For he departed not from the sins of Jeroboam, which was made in Israel to sin, which made Israel to sin. In those days, we're back. And in those days, the Lord began to cut Israel short, and Hazael smote them in all the coasts of the coasts of Israel, from Jordan eastward, all the land of Gilead, the Gileadites, and the Reubenites, and the Manassites from Ador, which is by the river of Ammon.
Yeah. This guy. Okay.
From Jordan eastward, all the land of Gilead. Now the rest of the acts of Jehu, and all that he did, and all his might, are they not written in the book of Chronicles of the king of Israel? And Jehu slept with his fathers. They buried him in Samaria, and Jehoahaz his son reigned in his stead. And the time that Jehu reigned over Israel and Samaria was 20 and 8 years. 28 years. No, 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 I like this. Okay. Okay. We're going to continue to read. One, 2 Kings 12, 2 Kings 11. When I saw the mother of Azar saw that her son was dead, she rose and destroyed all the seed for her. But Joshua, the daughter of king of Persia, has no idea.
Consider, brother. What do you mean? A more sufficient. But like, whatever. Sure, sure. I'll take them. Sure, I'll take them. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Most Def wasn't who used the book. I read it for the people here. Oh, your book. Yeah, I'll read it. Dude, if you do not get away from here. I have a brother in Christ who should be watching the YouTube channel. Not get out of here. Get out.
I'm a strong supporter.
I'm supposed to be reading his book. So
I'm a
leave.
strong supporter.
Get out
That's
now. But I'll be abusive on cam. Okay. We're going to end the stream today, guys. I'm really supposed to be reading a brother's book that he gave me. Okay.